This is a binomial problem for European call, and the nice aspect of the European contracts, you only have to worry about the final value. So in the formula here, you'll notice that we're only looking at the calls after two periods, which could be what? Two up states, two down states, or an up and a down state, which you can arrive at through two different paths. So the period one in a European isn't really consequential, other than it's a pathway to tell us how to get to period two. So here we have a stock selling for 70, and I'm just going to make a few notes here. And it can go up 30% or down 30%. So if we were thinking about period one, 30% higher or 30% lower. And period two, sort of the same thing, 30% higher. Or 30% lower. And then there's a middle value here. It's a low off of the 91 high or a high off of the 49 low. And if you look at it, the 49 times 1.3 would also be 67.3. So this is just a converging lattice. And then our call, strike of 80. So what do we have here? It'd be the 118 here minus 80. And then these other calls, when you value them at expiration, are worthless. So our formula here is going to have a call with a value and two calls with zero value. It's really just going to reduce down to the p probability squared and two periods at the risk-free rate. And so we've got 1.1 squared in the denominator. If you want to look at the answer, here's what the answer looks like. Mapped out our up, down, and found our call values. We found the up range, we know that, 30% up, down range, 30% down. R minus D, 110 minus 70. Over 130 minus 70 gives us P and Q. The risk-free return covers most of that variation in range, so about a 67% probability on the P probability. And so plugging into this formula, P squared times 38.7, 2PQ times 0, and Q squared times 0, pretty much non-factors, and present value all of that sum by dividing by 1.1 squared or 1.21. Value of the option, 14.3. And again, the beauty of the European options is that you only need to get out here to the end and find the call payoffs, or in the case of puts, put payoffs, assign their probabilities, and just map them into this formula and run with it. An American two period, we would at least have to stop here at 1 and check to see if early exercise made sense. And the only time early exercise makes sense, here, if we exercised strike of 80 versus this price of 91, be worth 11 to us. So if this continuing on one more period to get 38 somehow was less than 11, we'd go ahead and exercise it. Obviously, in this case, it would not be. Even the American would wait for the final payoff at $38 in this case. And that's a 2-period binomial problem. And it's European settlement, so you just have to worry about the end states.